Welcome to a special Veterans Day episode of Catch Up with JP. Today we're talking to former Indians pitcher Jason Stanford. Just over a year ago, Jason launched Frontline to Field. Frontline to Field is a nonprofit organization benefiting veterans and first responders, families, as well as youth baseball players. Jason, what's the motivation and inspiration behind Frontline to Field?
Where the idea came into play with the nonprofit, with Frontline to Field. Middle of October, you have the two major hurricanes last year that took place, and then you had all the flooding in eastern Tennessee and western North Carolina. We had a donor that gave us a generous donation. We loaded up a minivan, and that was our first trek down there to give back to the families that needed it. And from that point on, we just knew that this was the right thing to do. We have heavily worked on events and community relation with where we live and just the surrounding communities as well, making sure that they're taken care of. And while that was all going on, we looked at it as an avenue to not only make it locally, regionally, but we wanted to make it nationally. So we opened up a chapter in Arizona. And so we're running the chapter Frontline to Field, Arizona. And then we also opened up a chapter in Colorado, Frontline to Field, Colorado. And we have two directors out there running the show out there doing different events. And we try to make sure that all the proceeds that are brought into the organization are accounted for and given back. We've been able to take care of firefighters and the unions. We've been able to take care of police officers. We've been able to take veterans on fishing trips, and their families to enjoy that. We've been able to do youth baseball clinics, in Ohio. We're getting ready to do one in Alexandria, Virginia. We've done them in Arizona and Colorado. So more and more that we keep showing ourselves out there, keep showing what we're about and why we do it, more and more I think we'll be able to catch some fire with this and get the people to back us as much as we can.
Because you're only there's just a 1 year in, right? This was last October?
Last October, so it'll be 1 year anniversary, October 18th.
It sounds like you guys have really accomplished a lot.
We truly have. Major League Baseball has gotten behind us, which, for a first-year organization, and even talking to them, they're like, what you guys have done in 1 year, we don't see people do in 5 or 10 years. When we heard that, and especially, it's just myself and Vanessa. We're the only two. We both have full-time jobs. I'm not going to say we're doing this on the side by any means, but we are working a lot. And, I would not have it any other way with the way that we're able to do certain things. My thing was, I want to give back. I want to use my platform. I want to be able to control how I can do it. And, I met my girlfriend down in Florida at a veterans golf outing. She was actually helping volunteer event because of her dad and grandfather. And then one of our mutual friends was also, heavily involved in giving back to military and veterans. And so her and I started talking, and, we would talk on a regular basis. And just the nice thing about it for Vanessa and myself is the common ground of loving our country, loving our military, loving our first responders, and being able to figure out how to get back.
What do you guys have coming up? You guys have more events, more plans to grow? If you ever need any help in Florida, I'm available.
Well, the awesome thing about it is, yes, we do. So Alexandria, Virginia, November 8th and 9th, youth baseball clinic down there. November 11th, we have a veterans retreat going on at a equine center in Medina, Ohio. So that's Veterans Day. We have a Johnny Tetrick 22 Tough Tribute Challenge. Johnny Tetrick was a firefighter, unfortunately lost his life in a hit-and-run car accident while he was on call. His youngest daughter reached out to us, and we collaborated this event for her father in his memory, and ultimately she wants to carry his legacy on. On our website, there's 22 events, 22 reps that we're going to be going through on November 22nd. That's in Cleveland. And then we'll have a youth baseball clinic in Cleveland December, I think it's 6th and 7th. I think it's that Saturday, Sunday. We have another youth baseball clinic in Colorado, December 22nd, 23rd. Another youth baseball clinic in Arizona on the 27th, 28th, and 29th of December. And then we just added in yesterday a paint and sip event uh, in Salem, Ohio, which is like Columbiana County, which is just south of us. That's on December 13th. So we have a ton of stuff going on in the coming weeks and months. We're going to be fighting and pushing, and headed for the finish line for 2025, and then 2026.
We're getting ready to start our own private brand of coffee called Frontline to Field Coffee. So that'll come into fruition late November, early December. We'll have a dark roast. We will have a blonde roast or morning blend. And then we'll also have a pecan bourbon roast that we'll be able to offer up on our website coming soon. And then we also have 10 different candle scents coming up that all are transcribed by veterans, first responders, and youth athletes with taglines.
That's awesome news. I can't wait to follow that. I can't wait to get my hands on some of that too. If you guys
Sounds
ship
good.
down to Florida, then yeah, I'll definitely get my hands on some of that coffee.
Oh yeah, we'll be able to ship nationwide. So we're excited. It's something different and unique, and all the proceeds that that we're bringing in for all this stuff again is going to go right back to our programming. We're really trying to build our brand, nationwide to make sure that we can give back to the ones that need it.
Jeff, we're going to be growing, and we're actually going to be growing into Florida. So that'll be our next chapter that we open up at some point in 2026.
I can't believe how quick you guys are growing, but yeah, you guys are doing good things.
We appreciate it. And, a lot of this information is on our website. You can follow our journey through the blogs. It's frontlinetofield.org is the website. And, we have social media. It's Instagram, Facebook. But we just had our first annual golf outing. Unbelievable, huge success there. Where we were able to raise, a hefty amount and start some new programs. So anybody that is a first responder, anybody that's a veteran, if you're ever in the Cleveland area and you want to come golfing, we have avenues and channels for you to golf, courtesy of Frontline to Field. We partnered up with the local golf course that PGA is heavily involved with, and we're hoping that we can get involved there and kind of carry on the mission and idea of why veterans and first responders are so special to all of us. So the last thing, that I think is kind of special that we just got involved in late this year. Military veteran, his name is Josh White. He's a Marine. He's part of the NASCAR series. This past year, he raced in the ARCA series. Had been away for about 15 years. Suffers from PTSD, suffers from anxiety. So we got connected, and Frontline to Field was fortunate enough to be able to sponsor 2 of his races. And it was really cool and exciting to kind of see, the ins and outs of what NASCAR racing, even though ARCA being the minor leagues of NASCAR, but just to be able to see what they go through, being down in the pits and listening, to all the different crews, go about it. And now Josh he's kind of ventured out. He's on his own right now, and he's trying to find, a sponsor. But he's going to be racing next year in the truck series. And so Vanessa and I, we were down in Bristol. We actually sat and watched the entire truck series race down in Bristol. And man, you talk about a fun, exciting time.
Right.
Holy cow. So we're excited about that. 2026, I think, is going to be really big for him. It's going to be extremely big for Frontline to Field with how much more involved we get with NASCAR and the possible truck series. And, who knows? You might be seeing Jason Stanford in a truck series suit someday on the sideline.
I might see a NASCAR at Daytona, even if Josh keeps doing his thing, or you guys continue to grow as well.